Hello, fellow Earthlings, and welcome to Deep Dive from the Hive, where we discuss modern-day musician life, answering the call to create, and what it takes to actually produce what you believe in. I'm your host, Marv Ellis, the captain of this submarine. It's a pleasure to be here with you today, so let's batten down the hatches and get to it. Let's go. Yeah. Yes. Check. Back in the house. Once again, for the deep dive. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I hope you're doing good at home. This is the deep dive from the Hive. I am Marv Ellis. We have one of my all-time favorite human beings on planet Earth with me right now. Don't know how it could get more dynamic than having the one and only Christopher Worth in the building. Christopher, thank you for coming to the show.
Thanks for having me here.
I have so many things to talk to you about, but really that's just the way it always is when we talk. Long conversations, phone talks about the universe, theory, writing.
It's the nature of the Cobra Pit.
But in this particular cast, we're trying to highlight and feature artists and talk about creation. And then you play a show at the end of the week on Friday, 8 p.m. And you can watch not only the one and only Christopher Worth, but also the wonderful, extraordinary Cassandra Lewis, who we will be interviewing after you. Mm-hmm. So, get into you and your life and what you do. I usually just get right into it and ask, where do you come from? Because I remember when I first met you, you started singing and I was like, God or Allah or Zeus or whatever gods exist, they pick one out of every 50,000 men to sing like you can sing. And I was like, this dude is ridiculous with it. It's like you got touched by the golden hand of whatever. And I got to know how that happened. And I got to know where, and I want to know where you came from and where were you born? Like, let's start there. I know it's a silly way to start an interview, but like, where did you come from, bro?
Yeah, no, it's not silly at all. So
yeah.
My family's longtime Oregonians.
Okay.
So I actually live now where we've lived for 120 years, this piece of land we've had for that long. And I've had 3 different generations of the family there. So I was born in Portland. Okay. And I wouldn't say it's like a crazy musical family, but it's a pretty musical family. I kind of talk myself in and out of that because it's kind of like this secret thing. Like my mom sings, my brother does too. We don't sing together as much as we should. But my grandfather was a pretty established piano player and cello player. He picked up cello when he was 30 years old, which is kind of crazy for a pitch instrument like that, where you like have to, there's no frets. So he was a crazy athlete, crazy piano player, picked up cello at 30, was in the symphony by 35.
What?
Yeah, crazy. So that house I live in is Bill Babson's house, and that piano is his, where you've been in the Roo-Doo.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about the Roo-Doo in a bit.
We'll get there. So I was born, I wasn't born there. I was born, I guess, at Providence downtown. And yes, I didn't really, there was music around. My grandfather was a musician, but I don't recall hearing him play that often. I had to take piano lessons for a bit when I was young, but it was just a couple years and I lost interest in it because I always wanted to improvise or play by ear, not want to read the music. And so I didn't really play music when I was a kid, and my family didn't like listen to music all the time. So interestingly enough, there was no singing then at all. I didn't have like a singing voice at all growing up.
Really?
No.
I find that hard to believe.
Not at all.
At all?
Zero.
Okay, we'll get to the point where you discovered that
we will.
Mutant power you have.
That's interesting. So yeah, actually, like my connection to music was in high school and hip hop music.
Really?
Yeah, that was like the first type of music that opened up my spirit and my soul and completely resonated with me. And like,
what about it do you think? What era? What?
I mean, I guess I was your typical suburban white kid, like listening to this phenomenon happening
in Portland.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what it was. I think it was the cultural mojo, the freshness of that, and just something about the swagger of it felt like something from a lifetime that I'd missed, and that I'd come home and somehow. At least it felt that way.
Was this like the golden era? Was this like Outkast?
It was like Black Star.
Oh, Black Star, like Mos Def, Talib Kweli.
Yeah, like
Black
on the
Star
tail.
shining.
Yeah, like Tupac to Black Star when it started.
Who's your favorite rapper besides me?
Oh my God, I don't know. It's hard to say.
I kid.
Mos Def is pretty incredible. Every time you put on, you're like, damn, that's
Yasin Bey.
Yeah, and also Talib Kweli. So that duo. Yeah. We can come back. There's too many others to kind of bring into the mix with those guys right there.
That's enough for
sufficient.
me.
That's sufficient.
So this is your youth. This is like high school.
High school, and then by the end of high school, I was heavy into athletics. Yeah, it was all soccer, and then I did theater on the side because I couldn't do any of the shows because I had soccer practice every day. So I was doing theater like classes, but I couldn't be in any shows. So I had this like pent up stage performance, theater kind of blood going through. And meanwhile, hip hop was just coursing through my veins basically. And so I graduated high school, went to college, and bought a DJ rig. And I showed up on campus, and there was like nobody DJing, and I was like something of a connoisseur of music at the time because I was just obsessed.
You've always been obsessed with all music.
No, I haven't.
I've seen you Spotify.
Yeah, I know.
You don't just listen to a few things. You're like scouring. You scour.
Yeah, I wish that I did more than I do.
Let's rewind it a bit. Sports. What was your sport?
Soccer.
So you're into soccer.
Yeah.
And you played into college, right?
Well, I did gymnastics when I was a kid, like heavy.
Really?
And then that was just, I didn't want to be alone. I want to be on a team.
Yeah.
So I switched to soccer, and I think I was probably more talented at the gymnastics thing.
What position in soccer did you play?
A variety, but then I ended up in sweeper, and I was playing up with the team above me and some pretty heavy hitting players. Like the team won nationals, not the team that I played up with, like Olympic development stuff. But
your ODP?
Yeah.
You're ODP soccer player. See, I don't think people. To Horner, did you know that? Say what up to Horner. This is your camera to say hi to Horner.
Hey, Horner.
He doesn't watch it. I think he just listens and cooks. But shout out to Skyway. We got Skyway fam in the building, so we have to shout out Horner. Someday, Trevor, you're going to go there and see why I keep talking about him.
So anyway, just, soccer was, you did the same thing, it was like
sports.
It was serious and it was awesome.
Yeah.
So there was no time for anything else. And then when I got to college, it was like, I'm a little small to be a sweeper at a D1 school.
Right.
So it was like, do I go for it? I could be on the bench probably.
Yeah.
Or is it time to just like switch it,
Were you singing then?
No. I didn't sing. So then I walk into college and no one is DJing. And so I show up and I'm like, I've been just studying. I could DJ. And so I become like another guy shows up later who's good too, but no one was doing it. And so I made like a whole side hustle DJing at these parties. The first one that I did ended up being, it was supposed to be 200 people and 3,000 people showed up. And they were all, and I had 2 Mackie SRM 450s. I mean, this is ridiculous. It sounds ridiculous because it is. I'm in a main room. We're set up for a 200-person party, but we have this crazy football game. All of the UC Berkeley people come over, and it's like every floor of the whole building is set up, and people are clowning through the window, throwing up. And I'm just DJing, and like, this is my like second, third DJ gig, and there's 3,000 people here.
Where did you go to school?
I went to Stanford.
You went to Stanford. Did you play soccer there?
No.
Okay, so you went to Stanford, you're DJing.
Showed up at Stanford, soccer's over, DJing's on.
3,000 people.
And I have it was
just the normal
whatever.
college life.
I mean, it was laughable to be DJing that.
What did you study?
I started in mechanical engineering and physics and ended up in philosophy.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I for better or for worse, whatever, just the college time was like, how much variety of knowledge could I absorb? And when I switched to philosophy, that worked as a container for that. So it was like the central branch of thinking, and I tried to test every other discipline I could within that, as opposed to a particular expertise.
So how did you get? That's really interesting because the name that we'll talk about, Naya, is a philosophy. The name of the band, Now Is All You Have.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Facts.
Anyway.
Dropping facts. I like it. So how did you get from not singing?
So zero singing, but
DJing.
Obsession with hip hop, and I'm DJing 3 nights a week. I'm playing every party on campus. This other dude shows up, and the two of us are the only DJs. So,
what was his name?
Looking back, what was his name? My DJ was DJ Delay.
Delay?
Yeah, DJ Delay.
Nice.
I think I stole it from somebody else.
Nice.
No, it's a copycat, which is indicative of my pre-artist phase, I think, and we'll talk about that later if we go there.
Yeah.
Just imitation versus originality.
Right.
So yeah, I'm DJing all over the place. I have a long distance girlfriend at home. It's like love of our life kind of thing. We probably should have broken up, but we stayed together. And though she doesn't think I was totally faithful to her. But we ended up like sophomore year, we broke up. And
this is the way.
Literally at the breakup, just like soccer going away left room for the DJing, that the breakup ended and I got into a musical, West Side Story.
Okay.
So out of nowhere, I wanted to get back in theater. They had auditions. I did it. I got in, small part, tiny little part, but I had to sing and dance. I'm like, I don't really do that, but we'll do it. So I was one of the Jets.
Really?
And so I'm in this cast, and like, there's some great singers.
It's Stanford.
Really good singers there, dude. And I just start absorbing it, and like, the vocal coach is like, he's like, no, you got something there. You're gonna be okay. You can just keep going. And so through this show, like, it starts out with me being like, these singers are incredible. Like, I can't even imagine singing like these guys. It's so cool. And it just like sponged into me and absorbed into me throughout the end of the show. And my whole voice shifted. And I went that summer to film school in NYU for acting stuff, and came back and was singing every day, all the way walking around New York every day.
Yeah, because you sang just walking around.
That I got to catch up. I had to practice.
Yeah, you practice every day. Like just say we're at Country Fair, you're singing all the time.
Because I'm technically not the most disciplined musician at actual practice. That's why this year has been weird, because I think I use shows too much to keep the iron hot. Yeah. And I should be better about my practice. But the way I caught up, the way I figured out how to gain ground, having not sung, most of my life, was to just have it be around all the time. So I'm walking, I'm singing, I'm driving, I'm singing, I'm singing, I'm singing. Like, that show totally transformed my voice, and that particular vocal coach's like belief in me. And so I came back and auditioned for all these a cappella groups junior year, and I got into like callbacks for like the serious ones. Ended up getting into this like pretty ridiculous a cappella group that's like all guys in baseball jerseys. Like,
what was the name?
Doo-wop.
The name,
it's
please.
bad. It's all.
What is it? Maybe you've
with
heard
all
of it.
due respect to the mendicants, who I got such training from. It's not bad. It was really good. There was some serious singing going on there, and I met two of my best friends there. So like junior year, I was like a cappella, learning how to sing, and then starting to arrange stuff, and then I was like kind of the leading male role in all of the plays on campus after that.
Junior
through senior year.
Do you recall any of these songs
from
West Side Story?
Oh my God, there's so many good songs on there.
You?
Maria, I just met a girl named Maria. Do you know that particular interval is from, I can't remember where he was when he wrote it, but it's an interval that frogs were croaking outside, and like da da da.
Really?
I'm not singing it exactly correctly, but yeah, it's derived from like this natural sound. That's where the idea came.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So then you're singing, you're doing plays. Junior, senior, you're developing and harnessing your voice. But how did you get ready for that clip, Trev, the one we were looking at?
Which one?
We need to know. No, the one where the stickers and the band. We need to go out.
Let's fast forward. We're gonna move.
Yeah.
Let's move steadily through here just to keep going.
Yeah.
And thanks for your interest in this. It's
fascinating.
Yeah.
Because people don't hear this shit.
Yeah. I like these stories too. I like hearing behind the scenes how people got there. So doing that, then senior year comes around and I get a guitar. I go to Spain for this like trimester abroad or whatever, and I write my first song. I can barely play. It's embarrassing.
Okay.
And I come back senior year, and I don't do like a thesis or anything, but I made this like little EP of songs that is not good. and joined this band. There was this band called Redline with this guitar player, this really great guitar player, and their singer, it kind of evolved. So we formed, I didn't even put this on the list. We formed this band called the Animal Underground.
Okay.
Which, as soon as I got out of college, it was like into that. And it was like a rock and roll band.
Okay.
And I was kind of writing, I'd written some songs and I was writing with the lead guitar player, and it was a really good band, you know, with some weaknesses. And so I got a job in Silicon Valley after college at this like tech company doing research, which was bizarre. I remember playing, I don't want to say all this stuff because if anybody's watching the work there, well, let's just
what do you mean?
Because I was just getting into the stank and the music coming through, and all I cared about was that, but I was still like just rough and not good. And so I was just like, what the hell am I doing at this job right now? But I have to do this. Like, this is like, I graduated, I got to do something. The guitar player worked there too. He was actual coder, and I was on the research team.
Who's the guitar player?
His name's AJ Magnuson. He's a great friend and an incredible musician. This is Naya. We'll get there in a second. I didn't even mention this band on the list, but we'll get there in 1 second.
So I was giving you a 30-second head.
Apologies.
Jump.
So anyway, blah, blah, work there in the fall. I'm like leaving at lunch. I would like time my lunches because it was for the guys would leave, and I'd be like, oh, I'll see you guys later. I'm not going to go with you. And they'd leave, and I'd leave immediately and like get out of there and be like, oh. And then I'd kind of come back about an hour after they would have come back under the auspices of having left right before they got back. But I would just be stretching this to get these like 2-hour lunches to like play or practice. And I remember playing in the stairwell and them being like, you got to stop that. You got to stop. It was one of those kind of plantation, like one building with like one company in it, and it's all kind of sterile. And anyway, it was a good job and I was grateful for it. But the whole thing in the band fell apart. Moved home at the end, like that fall, to like be with my grandma, I said. But it was just like, this is weird. And that's when I jumped into the Portland scene. I was like, I don't know if I'm play music. I just started so late. What am I going to do? Kind of worked construction for a bit, bounced around, played open mics. And at some point was like, I got to get out of here. Tried to move back to the Bay to like get away from home and like go for music. And I literally moved down there. And right when I did, I got a job for a company in Oregon through a friend of a family's, like another tech job. And I remember moving to San Francisco. I had an apartment on like Greenwich Street, and I got there and I was there for like a week, and I'm working this job at home, and I'm looking at the money I'm making. I'm like, I can't even afford a rehearsal space. Like, and I had this big moment of like coming to wisdom where I was like, my dad came down and I was like, all right, I'm going to let the music thing go. All right, I'm going to quit it. And like, I cried about it, and I'm like, it's just, I can't do it. I don't know how to do this.
How much did your dad have to do with that decision?
I don't think he did actively, but there's always a lot of pressure there. They're worried about you. They want to.
Yeah, my parents
safe,
have
you know?
had
It's
the
like,
talk with me. You really got to think about your future and your retirement.
And they're.
How old were you?
I was like 24, and I cried. I quit. I'm like, I'm going to move home, and I'm going to take this job with Ray.
Okay.
And it was, and so then I came back home and like got heavy into this tech job. I was one of the third employees there, and like built this company, but like 6 months go by, and I'm feeling the music bug come out. And so I was living in like the garage of my folks' house at that point, saved money. I moved out into this really crappy house on 79th and Holgate that had just had like a meth raid, and the door was still kicked in on the basement. It was great, but it was kind of rock and roll. Yeah. But like, so then I like, the music comes back to bite me, and I jump into there and I meet Rudy immediately. This is where the whole Naya thing happens, because this is the Portland swirl at the time, like 2007.
That was 2007?
2007, 2008 is when Naya started. That was right when Portland, the whole swirl was happening, where
that was pre-Marv arriving in Portland.
Yeah, people didn't know about it yet. Like, it wasn't in magazines or anything, but the word was out, and travelers were coming on a whim because of this whisper of the energy collecting and the mojo. And I remember that very specifically, and being like in this house in this raw, like kind of punk rock, but like folk, kind of renegade, but like heartwarming energy was collecting, and that began this massive musical journey for me.
Slightly, yeah. And that was about the time I met you.
Yeah,
I
right
came
around
up.
then.
Yeah.
Candlelight stuff was going in.
Yeah.
All like Portland was real good then.
Yeah.
I mean, I miss it.
It was the spot.
It was chill. It wasn't like
I
congested.
remember I moved there, and then I would tour, and people like, "Where are you from?" I'm like, "Portland," and they're like, "Oh, God, Portland, huh?" Yeah, Portland. They never did. A level of respect was given to me that was never there when I would say, "I'm from Eugene." Where?
Mm-hmm.
You know, Eugene, Oregon. Oh, cool. Where are you from? Portland. Oh, I heard it's awesome there. Right?
Yeah.
Standard. That was the way it was.
So the video we got pulled up here. So like I met David Rueda, who's a good friend of mine, known him for a long time. And we made this band called Naya. And so this is the beginning of, this is kind of why I went into philosophy, I suppose, as I knew later. But every one of the musical projects I've been involved in some way has been about trying to smuggle in some philosophical message, because the notion of, gaining fame or renown just for oneself always felt, from a philosophical perspective, maybe like not optimal. Could we use it for something else? Could we use this to be a vehicle for some message? And so the band Naya was that. Me going by my middle name Worth also is in relation to that. So
that's where where it comes from, Worth?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is
these stickers.
So we bought
these
like
stickers. I have never seen.
This is insane. Okay, so this is ridiculous. By the way, everyone, if you're watching this, like, I am acknowledging that this is ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous, man.
It's ridiculous. Trust me. Ridiculous. If you knew what went on behind the scenes of this shoot, this well-meaning like design or stylist lady was trying to get me to wear a Hendrix shirt, and she's like, "You got to wear a rock and roll shirt." And I'm like, "I get it, but like I like Hendrix, but like I would not wear that shirt." And we have to be honest here, like this is ridiculous. And so this whole shoot, like this guy met David and Kenton downtown walking, and was like, "You guys look like a rock and roll band. Let's do this shoot." And he was this Hollywood producer, and like we had to raise $5,000 and like shoot this video, which looks pretty dope and pretty Hollywood, but also looks like super fake to me. Like,
well.
Whatever.
It's what it is, man.
It is what it is.
If I show you some of my
that guy's got some good makeup on there. I like that. He looks, is that beard makeup or is that a real beard? She was trying to get me to shave the beard.
Really?
And I was like, no, what is this? So this began, the relationship we have with like the industry or whatever.
Yeah.
Musically versus artistic integrity. Anyway, this video was emblematic of this first era of this band Naya. And we went pretty quick. We got together, and the band had a lot of mojo. Like the bass player and drummer were Cuban and Colombian. They came from Hialeah in Florida, and like they had a metal background plus hip hop. Guitar player was amazing, and I was just getting into playing keyboard. I didn't even play keyboard. Other than those lessons I'd had early on in life. And so we got it, and I bought that Magic Rhodes.
The big heavy
when
one.
I was with them, and I was playing acoustic guitar, it didn't fit. So I found this Magic Rhodes, and we recorded the first record, like, and I didn't even really know how to play keyboard, but I wrote the keyboard parts to it, and then we had to go on tour. But I didn't know how to play keyboard and sing at the same time.
What?
So I had to just figure it out. We're just like, we just gotta go. So anyway, this first record, this era where this is from, for me, like, this band was amazing. These gentlemen were wonderful. The skill was so high. The mojo was hot. But I think we kind of fudged the first record. Like, I had inherited a little bit of money from my great uncle, and so I financed this whole first record.
Okay, can we stop?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is when I met you. Just from an outside perspective, I was like, holy shit, this dude's got a gang. You were
it was a posse.
You were the
It was a posse.
West Side Story. That was
I know.
You were that crew.
Well, so
and then you had this giant bus that said "Now is all you have" on the side. Everybody had dreads, except for you. And you had these stickers that were everywhere.
We had 10,000 stickers.
Dude,
we put them over a whole town, and then we bought that bus. It was a 42-foot bus named Wally, by the way.
I see those stickers more than any other band stickers I've ever seen in my life.
We're just like, we're going to paper this.
Now is all. If you ever see a "Now is all you have" sticker, that's this man's work.
Yeah, and we made matchbooks with like a cool little like philosophical phrase on the inside.
Yeah, and you were loud.
It was a loud
You were
band.
loud.
So yeah, it's a big black school bus.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting, bizarre looking people, lot of mojo. And like, I can't say I've been a part of a crew since then that kind of like came out with that much fire and kind of gravity to it. Anyway, so we're at the beginning of this, and I had a tiny bit of scratch I'd inherited from my great uncle. I'm like, let's go. We're going now. We got the band. We're going to do this. So we did the first record, but all of the other musicians were a lot more experienced than me, and I was kind of fresh. So I think I controlled it too much.
Yeah.
And I tried to push it instead of letting it grow organically. And this is, I think, one of the reasons, among others, that the band ended up breaking up later on, is this first era of like pushing so hard for the record, hitting the road with the bus, going on tour. We're like, wait, do we believe in this record? Because it was like, some of the songs were mine. They were younger. They were like, you know, if you listen to that video, it's like songwriting is not quite there. It just felt really young. It didn't feel representative of everybody.
But sometimes it's the energy, not just the music that somebody has, you know?
It
like
is.
The Dead.
But we didn't get it on the record. Like, I was in there recording that, and I couldn't sing well enough, man. Like, they had to pitch correct my voice in that first record, and I've never done it since then again, because I couldn't hang. Like, it was really tough.
Well, the music was so, well, that's besides the point.
It is. So we make this first record. It's like cleaner. It's a little poppier. We go fast. We're going hard. We're touring around. And like the band almost crashes and burns from that because it's just not authentic to everybody. So we have this whole reinvention phase where we write a whole slew of new material, recorded ourselves. And that was the second EP record we made that I really think is what the band actually sounded like. But
Can people listen to this?
These are on Spotify. We'll put the link up there.
Yeah.
I don't know if I gave you that link in the description, but
But it's just under Naya.
Yeah, Naya, Niayh. That was all you have.
So
if you're gonna listen, you know, that first Red record, the Hope record, there's some good stuff on there. But it's like, it's trying, it's clean. I'm young, and incidentally, every record we had a painter make a painting for it. Or I guess I have had those for mine. We didn't do it on our second record, but for that one, and the image in the painting is like these guys holding a baby over a fire.
What?
And I always felt like that was me, because I and it's a two sides. So if you turn the painting upside down, you'd see these figures, and they're like how they would appear to the public, like maybe lead singer, drummer.
Can we see this?
I gotta find it and send it to you.
Okay.
We'll pull it up post here. I don't have it. I didn't think ahead to this.
It's okay.
But the bottom side was what was going on behind the scenes, which were, you know, it was kind of I got my ass handed to me. By that time, by pushing too hard, and I learned a lot. And
when you come over to the house,
mm-hmm.
we'd stand out on the porch, Cobra.
We'd Cobra.
And we'd talk about things.
Mm-hmm.
And
you remember that time.
I remember all those times, man. We had long porch talks about being a team leader, having bands, and you care a lot about what you do, and you take accountability for what you've done. And I've always appreciated that about you. And you think things through. Writing a song with you is different than writing songs with other people. You want every word to mean something. You're a deep dude. And that band was a deep band. It was a loud, deep band.
It was really, really loud.
And when we did the School of Life tour, and we were carrying your Rhodes keyboard.
I know.
Oh my God. We played in San Francisco. We played some cool venues though, man. That was really fun. But then that pushed into the trilogy, right?
So yeah, things were hot at that time. And then this band.
What year are we looking at right now?
That band went on a national tour in 2011.
Okay.
In the bus. Which is just crazy. We were trying to book everything ourselves. And we were just like, do it all yourself. We got our own sound system. We got our own bus. We're going to live on the bus. 8 people moved into the bus and went on the road for 8 months the first year with no home to go back to.
And you drove that bus into New York City.
We drove the 40. It's a 55-foot rig into downtown Manhattan and stayed there for 3 nights.
I remember that story.
Like we rolled in and we're like, oh, we'll just figure it out. And we figure out the other shit. We'll just figure it out. We roll in with a giant bus.
It was a huge bus, Trevor.
55 feet long.
It was a huge school bus, all black. It said, "Now is all you have." Just really, inconspicuous.
Yeah, totally. So it says
everybody on the bus had dreads, and they're all like, just look like bad. You guys look like badasses too, by the way.
Yeah, it was an interesting looking crew, and so that's the scene. You see this bus rolling into Manhattan. And, you could see this crew getting screwed there. That could have been bad. We could have not found anything. A lot of shit could have happened there. But somehow, so we pull up to the venue, and we're opening for the Mars Volta's old drummer's new band, who's this incredible drummer named Thomas Pridgeon, a fantastic drummer. And so it's like a big show for us. We're in New York, pull the bus over, get into a place or whatever. If we get a ticket, like whatever, we got to get there. And so we come back after the show, and we're like, God, we're in a bus lane. Like, no one said anything. Should we just stay here tonight? Like, if I can stay right here? And everyone's like, let's just try it. So we spend the night on the bus right there on the road next to the venue. Next day comes around. Nobody said anything. And then we started doing this little like theatrical performance of like pretending we're going to put gas in the tank if a parking person comes by. So like, oh, those guys are just refueling. They're good.
Yeah.
55-foot rig. This says now is all you have on the side. This is the second day we're there. No one says anything. So we stay overnight again in the same location, having not moved the bus at all from the side of the road in downtown Manhattan.
Downtown Manhattan. That bus.
Dude.
Do you have pictures of the bus?
I do. Look, go to naya.com and it should forward you to the Facebook page, and there's some stuff there.
So you're downtown in Manhattan.
Yeah. So then it's the third day, and we have another gig that night, and then we can go. And so we're like, at this point, the people are, you can tell they're on to us. Yeah. So these cops show up, and I'm usually the cop spokesman, and they come around and they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, and I was like, we got to go into kind of. I didn't know that much about the bus engine, but I knew, with diesels you have to prime the pump so you don't get air bubble in it. Yeah. So I kind of like edged my way into some sort of mechanic talk with them, like to bro down, and they're like, I'm like, "Sir, we got to prime the lift pump. We ran out of gas here, and we're working on it right now." And they're like, "You guys a rock and roll band?" And we're like, "Yeah." They're like, "You're cool. You got an hour. We're not gonna give you a ticket." And so we finish up there, and we have a show that night. So we're like, "Well, let's drive through Times Square."
Of course, why not?
So we go drive to Times Square. So the other interesting thing that the bus had on it was a foghorn from a boat. Those are real loud. So the bus has air brake system, right? So it's got a big air compressor and there's extra there. And Rick's, the mechanic, wired it up on a bike chain by the driver's seat, and we could hit the horn. And I mean, this was illegal. Like, it was so loud that people would like freak out. And so we drive to Times Square, and Morgan is driving the bus with a horse head mask on, and we go in and like honk the horn at MTV. We go through Times Square 3 times, and then we got to get to the gig, roll up to the gig that night, and miraculously there are 6 parking spaces, extended ones, in a row, open. Roll the bus right in front of the next venue, park, pay the meters.
There it is.
Get out of town. That's the bus.
That's Burning Man, right?
That is that. So do you see the thing on the front right?
Yeah.
That's the air horn.
Okay. And you guys had a traveling mechanic named Rick's / Roadie, who looked like he was one of the characters from Mad Max Fury Road.
He is still, I think. Yeah.
Organic. He was one of those guys. Witness.
Man.
Look at that bus, man.
I miss that bus. That bus is gone now. That bus has been torn into pieces.
Really?
It's a sad story. So anyway, we made it through there, and we got out of Manhattan. That's the crazy tour story. And then the band we just couldn't recover. We couldn't get there. There were alcohol issues, I think, too, that complicated it, but we just couldn't, and everyone believes in it so much. We just had spent the mojo, and it got to a point couldn't do it. And we were this close. Our next songs,
dude,
everything was this close to whatever would be next, but it was, I still believe that material in that band was like an incredible project, and it was heartbreaking to let it go, you know?
You did work with that band.
Yeah.
And it's hard to keep a bunch of young 20-year-olds together.
Yeah.
On a bus.
Yeah.
You know, in hindsight, would you laugh at yourself, or would you not, you know?
I can't believe we did that.
I can't believe,
that was insane. And that's why it was good.
It gelled insane. You guys, right? Did that bus bring you closer together?
Yeah. And we built all these bunks in the back. Everyone's sleeping together. Kind of just smells kind of sweaty, like a sleeping bag. No toilet on the bus.
Oh.
So, you know, there's just like jars of pee around.
Oh, but the memories.
Dude, it's like, and we have like these women of us on the bus who have to deal with these dudes peeing in jars. And
you had women traveling with you.
We had 2 girlfriends that were part of the crew. That were essentially part of the band almost. Anyway, so I don't know what else we could talk about there. Well,
I don't know how that transitioned from, because through those journeys you meet more people who are attracted to that energy, and then if you're like me, you see something comes to an end, but from that journey you pull new people into the next stage, and it seemed like that's what you did, because then you went on a 3-album rampage of just like making these albums that were just they're amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
And you pulled different people from the past into that new direction, right?
Yeah. So the jump off there is, you know, we all had names in the band too, and so my name was Worth, which is my middle name. Something I was embarrassed about when I was a kid, but later came to realize I had to own. and hold, and it's been a whole meditation in and of itself. The weight of that word and its importance for each of us, I think, cannot be underestimated. Anyway, at the end of the Naya band, I started playing on the street in Portland a lot. I had 2 other friends right when that band started, and I saw that they really threw themselves into it, and it changed everything about how they played. And I realized I needed to get my chops deeper. So I hopped into the scene playing on the street. That's where I met Phil Bondi with the bucket drums. There's a video on there you could pull up with Worth and Bondi. In a second, you'll see.
Yeah, and that's what it seemed like when I saw you doing this. I was like, oh, he's going into Jedi guitar training now.
Yeah, and that was like street playing, like hip hop soul music with this bucket drummer, and we threw down pretty hard together.
And Phil Bondi is pretty ridiculous on the buckets.
He is. He's amazing.
Wasn't he on like a Swedish car commercial?
Well, this is right at the times that he's getting renowned, kind of world renowned somehow.
Yeah, he was famous.
YouTube, was just kind of coming up in a more serious way as far as like, scouring videos of other players and stuff. And anyway, so we're playing in Portland. Naya band tanks, and I have 3 albums worth of material there ready to go. And so the drummer from Naya comes on to help me produce the first one, and we begin this triptych of records. Which Rudy comes on to help with that.
Who also does engineering.
Yeah.
He's one of the guys, him and Anthony Mead are a couple guys I want to have in here just as guys who behind the scene movers,
Yeah, totally.
That's kind of what they do, right?
Totally.
So the albums.
So yeah, I got all this backlog material, and we're like, it's time to go. I don't want to, we hung on for a long time with that band, and so it was like, let's get it. So
was it liberating?
Yeah,
because you got all these songs you probably couldn't play.
It was terrifying. I think one of the things I'm learning as I get older is to let go of things and to not hold on too much. I think I was insecure about my skill and my depth as an artist, and I felt that I needed these other people. I also loved them all and saw their beauty and their skill, and I didn't want to part from how beautiful I knew they were, including Phil. And Phil and I don't play together anymore. I do miss him. We're still friends. This is a cool video. This is downtown by Saturday Market where we used to play. This is a cool video. So this is fun. I missed that hairstyle. That was a good time. Yep.
And,
I have a feather in my hair.
That was before Keisha, because that shit was popping in Portland before Keisha did it. The feather hair, that was kind of a Portland thing.
Anyway, so this is the street deal. So we did this. He's the drummer on that first record, kind of built the band. I raised Kickstarter for it. And he and I were touring around, but he started getting known in Europe. He went over to play in Europe, and he was like, dude, the money and everything here is so much better. Like we can actually do something. You got to come with me. And so I went over there, and we started touring in Europe as a duo, and he would do his like shiny bucket stuff, and I would play and bring CDs, and together we really could throw down. And we'd start in Switzerland was like the home base. It was like Rivendell. And you'd like come back and be like, wherever we go, you're like, we gotta get back to Switzerland. We're gonna be okay. Because we would play and literally like, I mean, like Phil would start, you play a beat, and it's already 6. People are like, what's going on? Because nobody's playing in Geneva at the time. Like, there's not a lot of street music, like nothing like this.
Yeah.
So he starts playing, and I'm kind of hiding a bit because I can kind of stow behind a pole or something just a bit. So he gets people around playing a beat, 200, 300, 400 people around. I come out, bam, we do a song. Do a second song, end with a bucket solo, CDs, and we would sell 50 CDs in 5 minutes and make €800, and then run around the corner and count the scratch.
That's what he told me. He said I could busk all day in Portland, make $17, $18 maybe. I go to Europe and I can't even lift my backpack. It's so full of coins.
Well, they have like 5 franc coins. That's like $8 in a coin. So it wasn't always that good. Of course, we were pretty good at. He was a hustler, and I was more trying to be like, we don't. It's not a hustle, and of course, it was both. It was artistic expression, and there was a beauty to the hustle, to the like pick up and drop, and we got good at it. And so
it's an art form.
So we started turning around from there, and on that tour, it's not always like that, and then you have to get permitted, and then the police are kind of always chasing you, even if you're permitted. So. You make that much money, but then it's like days before you get another spot again. But when it's on, it's on. So we go on this first tour. We go from there to Copenhagen, and we start fighting, and stuff gets bad, and my amp breaks, and he and I are communicating, and I have no money. And right when we leave Switzerland, for some reason, I literally pull my wallet into my bag and both of my cards flip out of it and they just disappear. Never had this happen in my life. And so we had no backup at all except street. And so we went from Switzerland, where it's like we just made $800 in 20 minutes, to I have $1 and we're going to be okay. Like, we're not totally screwed. Like, I'm sure there's some sort of lifeline we can figure out, but like, we have nothing. And my bucket drummer is not talking to me and my amp's broken. So we planned this tour. We're doing Switzerland, Copenhagen, Ireland, and then we're supposed to go to this Greek island for this glamorous show at the end. And this guy says, he's like, but did you get the tickets? We're like, did you get the tickets?
It's always the way. There's always one glorious.
We were like, Copenhagen is fucked. We got to get out of here, dude. This is expensive. It's an amazing town.
Yeah.
So we get to Ireland and we're like, okay, going back to Switzerland after this, but we're going to do that Greek island. And of course, we're playing in Ireland. And the dude who is the dream Greek island show thing falls through, doesn't buy the tickets. Whole show falls through. And we're like making money, but we're not killing it as much. We got to get back to Rivendell. We got to get back to Switzerland. And so I don't even know how this came up, but we had a day in Dublin where like we sat down and we're like, we just found out that the Greek thing was done. We have no money. We have no credit cards. And we're like, we got to get back to Switzerland where it's safe.
And you're sick of each other.
And we have to make 1,700 euro in 24 hours. And Phil and I are sitting there, and I can't remember exactly why it was that it had to be that amount, but that was what it was going to cost to get us out on that flight the next day to get back in time for this other show and like a place to stay. And it's this weekend where there's some boy band playing. So we go out. We don't have anywhere to stay. We're staying in this venue. We ended up going down because they had an S&M party in the basement and like went up playing at older people's S&M party in Ireland with bucket drums. It was great. I'll go into that later if we have time. And so then we're like, I don't know how.
Let's pull up the video of that, Trevor.
We end up, I swear to God, we end up and we're like, okay, we got to make $1,700 in 24 hours. So we go out that night. We're like, cool. Okay, that's nuts. I don't know how we're going to do that, but we're going to do it. So we go out that night, play, and there's a bunch of people in town because there's this big concert, make like $200, 200 euro basically. And then these really cute girls walk by and we kind of wave at them and we don't know where to stay. All the hostels are booked. The only hotels are like $500 a night. We can't have the money. We have nowhere to stay. So these girls walk by and it was like flirtation was heavy. And we're about ready to go with them. We're like, oh, we got to play a little more. We're like, we'll come back in 20 minutes. Like, we'll come back in 20 minutes. We'll come see you guys. We'll hang out tonight. They leave. We keep playing. The skies open up with torrential rain. Everyone leaves the streets.
Not good.
We have everything on our back. Backpack, guitar. He's got his buckets.
Soaked.
And we have nowhere to go.
Fucked.
Yeah. And so we're like, I think I remember the hotel those girls were in. Do you, Phil? And it was floor 7, right? Should we just go there? And so we go to the hotel and just walk in and go up to the floor they're supposed to be on out on a limb here. And we kind of like walk through, like not trying to listen too much, but like hear if there's some young ladies having fun.
These women.
Well, we had a good first meeting.
Survival.
Trust me,
so it's okay.
This was justified.
Okay.
They told us where their room it was and stuff,
Okay.
basically. So it wasn't crazy. We just didn't know the specific room number. So we end up hearing some girls behind a door and knock on the door, and it's them like, you guys made it, and like invite us in, and we just like have drinks with them and like cuddle and go to bed and wake up in the morning, and then we go out and we're like, all right, thank you for the good night. We made it through our only night here. We got to get out of here on this flight tonight. I can't remember exactly how this lined up in retrospect, but it did. So we have to make 1,500 euro now, and it's 8 a.m, and we have to do that by sundown. So Phil and I just like calmly get a coffee and like a little egg thing, and we're like, you ready to do this right now? Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to do this right now. And we go out to Grafton Street and just start throwing down, like as hard as we ever have, just going crazy. I'm like running around, like doing cartwheels and stuff, and the money just starts stacking up. And like pretty soon we look down, it's 3 p.m. and we got the money. We got the money in extra. So we went back to that nice shoe shop we've been playing by on the street all the time, where Andre 3000 walked by when he was filming the Hendrix movie and saw us play for a bit. And we're like, we're going to get one pair of shoes each of those shoes we thought were nice. Go in. They have the black ones in his size, the brown ones in my size. That's all I got left. Buy the shoes. Go to the airport. Stack the coins on the table. They take a photo because they're like, we're well, technically
We've
this is
never
money,
s-
but like this is crazy.
We've never
Like, what
seen
this is nuts.
1,500 euro in francs.
Yeah. And then we get on and we're back in Switzerland in Rivendell and everything's okay again.
You escaped.
That's one of the craziest ones. Phil, if you're out there, I know you know what I'm talking about.
So were you Sam or was he Frodo?
I don't know.
Did you guys have those moments like, oh,
Yeah.
Sam,
Yeah.
here's the lamb's bread.
Yeah.
We will escape Mordor. Get to
No, it wasn't.
Rivendell.
No, it's like
who was who?
the lamb's bread. What is the bread? What is the bread?
Elven bread. Trevor, look it up, man.
What is it
What is
called?
that? It's the bread the elves eat that's sustains them.
We didn't have that. For us, that was cigarettes and Red Bull.
So you guys,
Literally.
so this is like this is kind of how you kicked off your solo career.
Yeah. So then I started touring over there. We had an agent after that, and so I had more success there. Just it opened up there differently than it did in the States.
Okay.
So from there, I've done 7 tours there, and so the first ones
Yeah.
were just this bucket thing. We had a good thing going on because it was different. We could play on the street, and it was really portable, but it was sassy. It was like original, and no one was doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I remember the next time we went was official tour, album release. The albums are coming out. I started recording the second one.
Yeah. You doing
We're going over-
videos.
Yeah, we're doing video, and like, you know, there's this pent up materials where it's like, let's record, like raise the money, let's record. And the first official tour was just me and Phil, and we fly over, and it's our first like book tour. Get to Austria, which is like the other weird hub of things, and like go to this first show. And I love this place called Club Glam. Hi, you guys, if you're out there. But it wasn't particularly like the glamorous version of European shows that we thought it might be. It was a smoky bar. And we go there, we play the show. We're like, well, I guess the tour is not going to be maybe as glamorous as we thought. So Phil drinks quite a bit that night, and I drink a good amount. We both have a pretty hearty time. The next morning, wake up, we're staying at the little guest house, get out. We're supposed to go to this gig in Vienna. It's like our biggest gig of tour, but at this point, we're like, is it a serious tour? We don't know, based on last night, totally. So just as far as that venue is awesome, but it wasn't like a big venue. It's a bar. Like, is this going to be a bar tour or a venue?
Mm-hmm.
So we get out of the guest house, and like right as the like couple come down with their daughter that own it, Phil just starts vomiting in the bushes, and this daughter goes, "Daddy, no!" And the dad's like, I've seen this before. So we drive to Vienna, but we don't have any GPS on our phones. For some reason, we didn't plan ahead and get the data plan, or something was not right, and so we're late to get to this gig at House der Music. And we remember just driving into Vienna with no GPS and just yelling out the window to people, House der Music. And somehow we drove right to the venue, walk in the door, and they're like, you're late. And we're like, holy shit, 1,500 person show with like a full festival sound system. And we're like opening for like the slot before the headliner.
No kidding.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't always go down like that. But that was one of the better ones. It was just really interesting to go from like, oh, is this just going to be a bar tour to like, oh my God, clean up your act immediately.
Yeah.
And let's get ready to be pro here.
Dude, you've been to Europe how many? 8, 7 times?
7, I think.
You toured Europe. That's honestly my dream.
I like playing music there.
Don't kill my dream.
No.
Is it bad?
No.
Is it worth it?
No, it's wonderful.
What country did you get?
Significance of music and the relationship to music is culturally different. You know,
Right,
it's
like
not
you
the
said,
same.
in Germany they just stare at you.
I
Like,
think,
remember, was that
well,
you were telling me someplace everybody just kind of mean mugs you and then they clap right when you're done? Like,
yeah,
very public.
I mean, not to go with the stereotype.
No, I wanna know your
but the
experience.
Germans tend to be a little colder at first, but much more hearty and dear when you break through.
Okay.
Excuse me. So yeah, I mean, a lot of Austria, Germany, a little bit of Italy, some Denmark, but I haven't done France or Spain or anything yet. It's kind of that middle section.
Mm-hmm. All right. So then, and this is while you're making these albums, and can we grab some cover art possibly if we go to, let's say, Spotify?
Can you actually pull up the
Can we show these trilogy you dropped? Because
Can
this
you show that identity triptych image I sent you attached there? So the whole notion of the art, each of these records is an original piece of art for them, and it's a photo of me incorporated into it. And the idea was to deconstruct. So the one on the right is 6 Foot Soul, the one on the left is 2, and the one in the middle is Pardon Me. And the idea was that the artist, my identity as an artist, which the relationship with worth and the word worth and my face I was concerned with, because the message was not to identify me as that, but for the word to serve as a reminder.
Okay.
And so I constructed the 3 records to deconstruct the artist's identity into this hydra. Like the artist was the art.
Who's doing your art all the time?
So this artist was Rihanna Weaver. And so you see there, it's like the same person, but these three heads. So the first one was like a lot more street music, and the second was all about romance, and the third is like this transcendence. And so
Transcendence is the clean-shaven Buddhist looking guy.
Yeah,
Okay.
basically.
And then the street hustler is the guy on the right.
Yeah. Not
Okay.
that they are specific characters. That's just what happened in my life at that time.
Okay.
And so this was an effort for because I'd written all those songs, I kind of was like, well, we have an opportunity here to make kind of a large piece of art. A triptych is a 3-paneled piece of religious art, and that's what we went for here. And it's interesting actually. So each of the records has half interludes, half songs, and all the interludes are these like fresh noise pieces of noise music that would happen on set. And then I would field a question to the audience, and people would send me voicemails, and I'd chop up those voicemails into a script. And so the first one was, what does the word worth mean to you? The second one was, for 2, the love record, send me a message to a lover and say their name.
Oh, yeah, I
And
remember
then
that.
The third one was, send a message to the creator and answer yourself.
Which one of these guys was on The Voice, or
The one on the right.
the one on the
The
right?
one on the right. I'm so glad that I got to go down there.
So tell me about your experience, because
beautiful.
most people don't get to do that kind of stuff. And what was it like for you to be on The Voice?
I wasn't on the actual TV
No, I know, but
show.
you,
I mean, I was, but I didn't make it to the camera part.
but you were at
Thank
the
God.
house. And tell me what you were telling me that it was
I
like.
think I've signed an NDA about this, but who cares? At this
Seriously?
point? Oh, it's crazy.
So they grab you.
So then I didn't.
How'd you get on this thing? What the fuck happened?
I didn't even audition. So they have ears around for who's playing. Like, you realize that, like, while it's a really big world, it's also a small world. So they know who like the singers are that are pretty hot in a town.
Okay.
So not everyone's just cold auditioning.
Yeah.
So they hit me up, and I had to do like kind of a secret audition, and then I was part of the top 200 immediately or something.
Okay.
Flew us down to LA, staying in a hotel. Can't tell anyone at the hotel what you're doing. Can't leave the hotel after 10 p.m. Can't have more than 2 alcoholic drinks per day. Have to take a 570 true or false psychological exam. Have to have a psychological interview. Have to go and have this wardrobe team doll you up to imitate some other pop star or some fusion of them, and a variety of other things. It was a crazy, weird time.
How did that make you feel?
At the time, I was just really getting steeped in what it meant to be an artist, and how important that is, and what it is to have one's own voice and hold your ground. And I thought it was silly, and it was,
Yeah.
and because everyone was trying so hard, and they had this 70-page contract where if you like, with crazy details in it, and they were going to own your music. And so I was like, I can't, they're not going to own my songs. So I had like a 3 or 4 page addendum of all the pieces of music I'd written, and other ones that were started they wouldn't own, and like crossed out the contract, and like everyone else was like, oh, I just signed it.
Yeah.
Like whatever. So that was interesting because it was a real conflict, because at the time, although I didn't end up making it through for whatever reason, probably multiple reasons, but I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm one of the top 20 singers here, maybe top 10 on like originality, because a lot of these people can sing, but they're not. I don't believe them, and they're all obeying the rules. Like, this is crazy. Like, you're trying to find like the next like star person, but that person is someone who just says, "Yep, I'll be in my room at 10, and I only had 2 beers, just obeying the rules here."
Yeah.
I was like, this is more puppetry than artistry. And so the coolest parts were like the stairwell smoke jams at night.
That's
of
what
the people that were like,
Tell me about that.
I'm not playing by the rules.
So there was
Dude,
renegades.
and everyone knows if you've been on the show, like those were the coolest parts. If they filmed that, I want to see that show. So like in the concrete stairwell, after hours, we're not supposed to be out. People are singing and hanging out and throwing down. That was nasty. Those were the nasty singers. Those were the best ones.
Really?
To me, I mean, with all due respect, everyone could sing pretty damn well.
Yeah,
I mean, there were really good vocalists on there, but it's different to want to listen to someone and believe them. I mean, we go to art it's a sacred place. It's not a popularity contest, like think of your most favorite artist. Would it change your opinion of them in any way? And I don't know if it would or wouldn't, to have had them come up in a competition.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not wrong, but there's something intuitively very opposite there.
Something weird about it.
it's just not. And my artist self was like, this is not right. And I don't know what I'm going to do, because I'm going to make it through. And and the next round is my face on that thing and them like dolling me up. And this whole experience has just been ridiculous. And I think these people are nuts. And I realized that the whole theme of the show was really pretending to be about making somebody's music career, but it's actually the most genius way they could have to make money off people they wouldn't sign. They already knew who the good singers were, right?
Yeah.
So why not sign them? Oh, okay, yeah, no, we'll have a competition for you. You're gonna make it big. You're gonna make it big. Like, we're gonna bank off all these people we wouldn't sign. We wouldn't sign them.
Yeah.
So that's what it was. When I realized that, I was like, this is not. I don't want to be part of this. And then they called me and were like, you know, I think I didn't sing that well at the audition too. So I'm not saying I, necessarily should have made it through, but I feel pretty confident in my estimation of like where I would sit. But I didn't sing that well in the audition, and then I think there's the trouble that I was.
Yeah.
Like I went into the wardrobe thing, and they're like, "So who do you want to look like?" And I'm like, "This." I had like a gold denim jacket on and a Fu Manchu and the thing, and I looked pretty cool, I thought, and I didn't need any help. I'm not gonna like, here's a picture of these guys. Will you put these clothes on me? I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
This is stupid. No, I will not do that. And so, I mean, I don't think I was being like, it was an ego thing. It was just like, no, I'm an artist. This is an art place, and I'm not doing what you tell me to do.
One thing about you that I always found is interesting is that you've seen so many different perspectives of the music industry. Through your journey, you've seen all these different angles on it. You've seen the school bus touring life. You've toured the Europe. You've seen the street performer. You've busked. You've taught yourself instruments. You've seen the LA. You've seen the backdrops. You've seen behind the curtain. And you're still currently in Portland, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're still putting out art. And you're delving into film, right? And you're doing these Mayday love streams. And you're sort of I remember having a phone call one time with you. You're like, there's no unity in the Portland scene right now. And I was like, then make it, dog. Mm-hmm. And you literally did that. You started the singer-songwriter night out there on Mississippi. Yeah. And you started cultivating a scene. And within a year or two, that was like the hottest spot to go play your songs before COVID. And then COVID hits, and you decide to lead an army and make Mayday love streams and get the stream thing going on. And you did it. Like, you're always pushing forward with things. What was that like for you with the Mayday love stream? What was your vision with that? Well,
sometimes I feel like I'm a slave to the ideas, but I feel we have a duty to execute the visions that arrive in, with us or through us. Just like the song, like when it touches you, it's your responsibility. It's your duty to pull it through. And I think that the experiences that we just mentioned, have left, and also like kind of the social media craze that has swept up more in the past, the need for us to constantly interface through that medium. The cult of personality, the individual is just like run rampant, and there's this missing connection. And I became kind of tired, as I think we may all become, with like constantly repping myself. Yeah. I mean, the art comes from the same place. The place the songs come from, that place. That's the place I want to go and want to take people. And whatever we can do, whatever I can do to maximize that, that's my duty. And so these other endeavors have been partly my response to like, interfacing with the music industry and not necessarily having people come help me that were legitimate or foster that art in me. And my response was, I won't believe in a world where that doesn't happen. And that's been my experience. And so I will be that. I will provide that the best that I can for other people. And if I can make the art go, if I can fuel the art or protect the art, that's the same as the songs, my songs. And maybe it's bigger. It's
like a grander duty.
I think so. This is you guys on the show. So this is crazy. So everything we just talked about, throw it all out the window this last year. Like David Jacob Strain and I, who maybe we'll go to that in a bit.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about David.
He and I were about to go on tour in Europe right when this happened. Yeah. And so
there's me.
There you are.
With my broken left hand.
So this is the Mayday love stream, and I'm behind. We're at the Hallett Halls in Portland.
Yeah.
I'm behind the tech desk here. switching between the cameras, doing the graphics, which I never would have thought I'd be doing a year ago. So tour got canceled, and we're, you know, the all you were seeing on the maps on the TV a year ago were like this red circles expanding. Like we didn't know how this was going to turn out.
Yeah.
And so we decided that the Hallowed Halls owed me basically a whole month of recording time because my grandfather's piano had been there for a while. I was never going to use all that, but it just lined up. Like we were going to do it in April, it was too early. And then in May, I was like, well, we should do this. And so I had this whole download of what it should be called, the Mayday Love Stream. And like I arranged with Hallowed Halls, hey, say, let's collaborate. You sponsor the show, but just we'll write off that time. Give me the studio the whole month. Yeah. We'll do a show every night.
Okay.
And so we kicked into this and was just like, let's bring all our gear together, all the musicians we love, and let's throw these shows. And they're all donation based.
It was really cool to be able to do this.
Thank you.
And I don't know, between you guys and the Hive, it felt like there were a couple venues that existed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you held it down in Portland, and the Hive's holding it down here. I don't see shit in Eugene. Like ain't shit in Eugene, ain't shit in the coast. It's Portland.
This was fun.
Grants Pass.
So
good job, Trevor.
Everyone's getting their, you know, this is a full recording session, and then it's all donation based, and we were like, we need to raise $1,000 a night, and we did. Over the whole year, we averaged over $1,000 every night. So the artists were getting paid, and we got to make this art together. We saved all the videos, and then did a couple other fundraisers, and then the whole year we raised over, I think, $65,000 for the artist community through our show. And everyone on the team, like the hosts, the whole crew, like everyone's like just doing this together just to make something. And I think this is really indicative of the degree to which hardship we have to harvest the hardship into creation.
You made lemonade for sure, man.
Yeah, we have to pull it in. So that's been really fun. That's a year. We just did our anniversary show. You know, I wasn't planning on being a stream tech guy, but I always loved shootings. I've been learning a lot about that and just kind of getting my tech nerd rocks off by doing that, which I'm like an amateur nerd, but I am. And so I've been really learning a lot about that, and just trying to continue to support the art, to explore the medium of the live stream, actually. And so because we did it every day, every weekday last May, we really got other than the kinks I've mentioned to you, which persist to some extent to this day, most of it, like the vibe and style of the show, out of the way. And I like to look at it as a medium in and of itself. I mean, live streaming's been around for a long time, but what was different now, its context changed. And the coolest revelation I had, which I hope we continue to use in recording sessions, is that having the live stream, the live element be there, can trick away the recording jitters, the anxiety. You know, it can become more, you get that live show bit. And there were literally artists in there being like, yeah, I always kind of get a little shy when I get to the recording studio. It's not the same as a live show.
When you know there's,
and I'm like, yo, this is a session.
You know, there's
dude.
One take. You got one take, bro. There's no take 4, 5, 6, 7. You just have to power push through. And sometimes I'll do a take in my studio, for example. I'll do a take and I'll mess up a little in the beginning, but the rest of the take's money. It's just like live. It's real life. It brings more reality to the music recordings. I think
so too.
Yeah.
We're of the same ilk there. Like, we're one take. You know, the more you edit, the more you reach in, the more you're reaching in the water and the oil comes off your hand.
Yeah.
There's nothing can replicate the pure moment. You know, like you told
me
one time, the best raps I write. Oh, I'm going to do a voice for you. The best raps I write are when I go walk around the street and I just write the rap in my head.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't stick, it's not good enough. And I walk back and I've written the whole rap.
Yep. Right in the rain.
Like
right in the, that's the method of.
You can't beat that with editing though. Like, even though it's awesome, the tools you have now to do it, but like, you can't fabricate. You can't piece together something that energetically resonates with the same shine as something that has been, you know, hewn in the rock.
Right.
By hand.
Just stamped.
Yeah, that you've earned.
Like a tattoo.
I have a theory about
permanent.
I have a theory about I saw Paul McCartney play at Coachella one time, like 110,000 people there.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And he's one of my favorite singers, obviously. And,
I was going to ask you.
You know, yeah.
Is it too off base to just say who's some of your?
Oh, let's do that really. Well, let me say this.
Yeah, tell me that, and then. Okay.
I realized that so much of what we're interfacing with was, you know, and trying to play for more people and make our careers musically is like, scaling up to these bigger audiences. And what does that look like? And for a lot of the mechanism is promotion and hype and PR and stuff that isn't necessarily connected with actual wizardry skill and being able to hold that space.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized seeing him that the authentic trajectory, the road to that, was to build your ability to contain an audience that size. And so when Paul McCartney played for 110,000 people, it felt like he could hold everybody in his arm, his energy.
Yeah.
You can't fake that.
No.
You can't, even if they all love you and stuff, you can't do it like that. You have to build it like a muscle to get there. And it was fascinating to see. I was like, I can deal with that. Like the hype machine, I don't know how to interface with that, but I can deal with the wizard growth. I can see that, and that's the way.
Yeah.
So favorite singers, I love Sam Cooke a lot.
I do too, man.
I don't know, man. I love gospel music. I feel like Delta blues and gospel music, which came as a bridge off from the hip hop phase I was in, just speak to me in a way I can't quite explain. Just the spirit coming through and the disappearance of the vocalists in that tradition. It's amazing. So Sam Cooke, definitely one of my favorites.
How about, I'm gonna put it a different way.
Let's see.
If I had a geometric time machine, just randomly had a geometric time machine, and you'd hop in it, you drive from here, Florida, 3,500 miles nonstop, 4-day road trip, small little car, 3-banger in the engine. You get there and there's a venue. And that venue, you can watch any musician that ever lived in their prime, opener, main support, headliner. Who would you pick to see at this venue?
Can they be, I would have them in different rooms because I would want to bridge the styles so much that staging it would be weird. I'd have to have different rooms. So I would love to see Sam Cooke. I'd love to see.
Sure, there could be like a small little stage in a big
room.
Like
different rooms, yeah. Like old, like I mentioned earlier, and not to just repeat what I said earlier, but like early Led Zeppelin would have been a phenomenon, but just like the context and how music was shifting then, like what that would have been like.
Okay.
I mean, just like random other things. I'd love to have seen Mariah Carey sing in the 90s, like right here, like at a desk, just like face to face, and be like, do it. Because she's so amazing. I love Etta James. I love Sarah Vaughan.
Sarah Vaughan.
Sarah Vaughan is ridiculous. Ella Fitzgerald. Fats Waller, old stride piano stuff, Ray Charles, all that old stuff.
Yeah.
And as we come through this, there's, and to all of their credit, there are so many incredible singers and players, but the things that stand out to me that are the real holy grail are the songs. And going deeper into those constructions because they morph and live on and they're bigger than each one of us. And so, although I've mentioned singers and performers that I really like, I as I get older and get deeper, I feel like the songs are something else. It's all about that. Even Bob Dylan's a great singer.
Yeah.
Early Bob Dylan, I think he's a fantastic singer. I believe every word he says. That's hard to do.
I feel horrible right now.
We have to cut our time kind of short
because we have to.
You have 2 things to do today.
It's just like always.
Yeah.
We can just keep talking.
I know.
But knowing this journey you've been on, I mean, the college DJ, the different Silicon Valley guy, the soccer player, the street performer, the lover, the transcendent guy, the voice participator, or the journey you've been on, the trilogy, the Naya. Now with the Mayday, now with your association with David Jacob Strain and things you're doing, producing other people, making films. Right now, that whole journey is quite extraordinary. And all those lessons, I always know one thing about you, that you'll take all that shit and you'll put it into a song when you play. And it's fucking beautiful, man. And I was wondering if you would do us do us a little favor for people who y'all should be tuning in on Friday. If you don't, you're tripping. I personally think you're one of the best vocalists in all of Oregon, and singers, and just all around good dudes. And you're a pillar to the musical community where you are from. You know, and
thank you.
You're really important to many people in the scene itself of Oregon music. But I would love to hear one of your songs right here in the studio.
Sounds good.
You down to do that?
Yeah.
Got a little mic.
Play one that's not isn't super loud or like vocally all over the place, but just one that I was playing for earlier that I like this song a lot. It's called Featherweight.
Okay.
This is so in my more recent iterations, as you mentioned, since the trilogy of records and stuff, I've been doing a partnership with David Jacob Strain, who's a fantastic musician, one of my best friends now.
Okay.
We've been recording other people this year. We started by recording ourselves.
Okay.
And we have a kind of a dual EP out called the Roo-Doo Sessions on Spotify, and this song is on there. And I've been kind of getting back to my roots after that hip hop music early on, and I was really into acoustic music, and so there's been a lot of these big band productions, and playing with David is really getting back to how do we get the acoustics sounding three-dimensional and delicious.
It's on.
We're getting the sound set up here. Oh yeah.
That's it. No.
That's the mic. He's plugged in.
No, he's not.
Are you plugged in?
No,
No,
he's
we're
on.
just going through this
He's
one.
on 4. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
We're good.
4 on this guy.
Can you hear it?
Yeah, it's just quiet.
Okay.
There we go. Got the microphone set up here. Anyway, this to cut to the chase here. That's what I've been working on lately is with David, and kind of, there's some electronic collaboration stuff we didn't go over,
Yeah.
but you'll see it on there if you go look online. So all my music's under Worth, and recently I've been kind of putting it out under Christopher Worth too for this acoustic stuff to just kind of get away from the fact that you can't find me on Google as easily for a variety of reasons too. But this song's called Featherweight. I'm gonna play it for you now. Let me tune this real quick, make sure we're good. You guys deserve an in-tune guitar.
Of course. And for those watching at home, he's on a Gibson
This is a J45.
J45.
Yeah, I love this guitar. This is Marion.
It has a name.
All of them have a name.
Not everybody's good.
They should.
We'll talk
They
later.
do. They may not have been named, or they may not be aware of the name yet, but they better damn well have a name.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
On the banks of a running stream, at the edge of the in-between, featherweight, I ain't listening. We are indeed. We are indeed. On the trunk of a fallen tree, on the dew in the pollen breeze, holding on for the last sunbeam. We are indeed. I hold you back. We are indeed. Who told you that? We are indeed. All along, you've flown in free. We are indeed. Well, we are indeed. Keeping time on a watch that ceased. Out beyond where the compass reads. Featherweight, oh, we're lost at sea. We are indeed. I hold you back. We are indeed. Who told you that? We are indeed. 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 Indeed.
Thanks, man.
I like that song. Oh.
So does your capo. Man. Christopher Worth, man.
Thank you. That connect. David and I wrote that together, and I started that, and it's been our first foray into writing together. And David Jacobs Train is one of my favorite writers, and he's one of those people. Writing with him, you realize how good he is.
Yeah, I wanted to.
He is an amazing writer, amazing player, amazing producer. It's been so good to work with him, and I just remember us connecting on this Featherweight. I had that word, and I had a lot of the words ready, but not quite ready. And he came with the missing piece, and he had this story about the love of his life who actually passed away out of nowhere, and years back in the early mid 20s. And after this horrible surprise tragedy happened, he ended up in this canyon with friends letting go of her, and had this feather. And the guy said, let go of it whenever you are ready to let go of her. And he lets go of it, and they watch this feather go down into the canyon and then get carried up by a gust and disappear into the sun. And that became again, when I said the songs come from the same place, like we tied into these things through this image of this feather. And it's just a reach out to beyond the brink, and which I guess we're doing in many songs, but just trying to touch through the veil on the other side and understand anything if we can. It may be beyond understanding implicitly, like reading time from a watch that has ceased, out beyond where the compass reads. Are we lost, or does it make sense? Or like, I hold you back from the cliff, or I hold you back like this? Where do we get these ideas from? It swirls around, but something rolls on. Anyway.
Well, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Hell yeah.
I know we wanted to go out on a video, and so what I think is one of the coolest music videos that I've been a part of. It's not the burning piano one, but that's up there too.
Okay.
Where I almost burned my face off. We might have to have another podcast.
We might have to have you back. Trevor, what do you think, man?
I think you can keep rolling, or we can do part 2, whatever.
No, it's okay. It's okay. We got a lot covered here. So
but Friday, it's going down.
Friday is going down.
And tickets will be on sale Wednesday. And there's limited seating. There's only 20 tickets, and they're each $1,000 a piece.
Yep.
So if you want, no, I'm joking.
Going on.
But we are going to have the one and only Christopher Worth, and that's just half of it. We have another amazing artist, and you've been working, producing, mixing and recording her.
David and I have been on the production team for it. There's been a lot of people there. David's kind of the head mixer, and I've been helping. We have a kind of production partnership there, and I'm really we just got the masters back. You're going to be excited to hear. Oh man, Cassandra's got incredible stories, and is one of the best vocalists I know, and is such a great writer and a special spirit. And it's really been a cool journey to be a part of making this debut full-length record with her. And I can't wait for you guys to hear it. I'm super stoked about it. She's one of my dear friends. I love her very much.
Very exciting.
So we're gonna play out on one music video, which is for "Pardon Me," which is the title track of the third record of the Identity Triptych, that trilogy.
Okay.
And this is kind of just one of my forays into kind of a different, kind of dark, poetic corner of songwriting. A little bit of the hip hop influence you'll feel in there. And this video was like a cool, really cool concept video with John Mayer. We took like 5 days to shoot. It was all over the place, and I feel like we made a cool piece of art here. At the end of the day, I don't know what else we do if not that.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming in, man.
Thank you.
Y'all check out, what's the website?
Which one?
The one you want people to go look at.
Go to weareworth.com.
Weareworth.com, and they can find you on
find everything.
Spotify.
Spotify is just under Worth. If you search for Christopher Worth, you'll link into that too.
Okay.
You'll see some electronic stuff, all these records.
Go check out my boy right here. I'm super proud and honored that he came down and all the way from Portland and to be with us here today. And he's staying with me all week. I'm super excited. And he's going to rock the house the way he does, along with Cassandra Lewis, who's coming in the door in just a second. I get to talk to her too. It's my birthday tomorrow. This is the way I wanted my birthday to be. Have people like you here, special humans. So let's roll that video, and thank you for
one last statement.
Yeah.
We make music for the ages. So all this art we're doing, all the music you're making, all how you're leaving your life, we make it for the ages, not for right now. What other people think now? Stick true to what the rudder inside tells you.
Now is all you have. That's why I'm wearing your shirt, bro.
And that's where this piece of art comes from. Enjoy it. Thank you so much.
Peace, y'all.
Fell into a puddle laced with grass. I thought it causing trouble. What would you ask? I held this shovel, swam out into a field to fill a grave. Under the covers I would sleep with the snake. We danced in shady lanes. Oh, can you pardon me? All the fires I lit are burning in the sea. Oh, can you set me free? To save myself and honor this belief. Feeling suicidal, ain't that a shame? It's everybody's Bible. We write the page and dim the lights fall. A selfish meditation, it's all the same. The fruit of being patient, being lame. I don't know nothing. Oh, can you pardon me? All the fires I lit are burning in the sea. Oh, can you set me free? To save myself and honor this belief. Feeling like a dead man walking, talking when they shouldn't be talking, waiting on the world to punish me. Look into you like my lover, when I got no other brothers, hoping that your grin will pardon me. Yeah. Oh, I stumbled to the crossroads. I held the stake, but with the partner I know, we looked the same. I did not know his name, but fires on the wheels and burning fast. Stop talking, hold the treasure. It never lasts. Tell you we're gone now. Oh, can you pardon me? All the fires I lit are burning in the sea. Oh, can you set me free? myself, I honor this belief. Feeling like a dead man walking, talking when you shouldn't be talking, waiting on the world to punish me. Yeah. Look into your light, my lover, when I got no other brothers, hoping that your grin will pardon me. Yeah.